Maria's hands were cracked. 42 years of life, and the last 10 had left countless detergents, bleach, and cleaning chemicals etched into her skin. But the wounds on her hands hurt less than the hope in her heart. Because Maria Gonzalez, living with her 3 children in one of Los Angeles's poorest neighborhoods, still believed that one day everything would change. She just didn't know how. Not yet. The alarm rang at 5:30 every morning. Maria would jump up immediately, because she had to drop off 4-year-old Diego at daycare, 8-year-old Carmen at school, and 12-year-old Roberto at middle school. 3 different places, 3 different times. Then she'd drive to Beverly Hills to start cleaning her first house of the day. 4 houses per day, sometimes 5. $80 for each one. After taxes, she'd take home $250 daily. On good days, $300. But Maria wasn't just cleaning. She was invisible. Someone who silently entered the lives of wealthy people, polished their rooms, made their beds, washed their dishes, but was never spoken to. When homeowners made business calls, Maria would vacuum. When they sipped coffee with investors in their luxury kitchens, she'd wipe windows. And Maria heard everything. Every word, every number, every strategy. The first thing she noticed was simple. These people talked a lot, because they felt safe. Because they thought a cleaning lady wouldn't understand, they spoke freely. What could a Spanish-speaking woman who barely knew English possibly comprehend? But Maria had attended university in Mexico before dropping out, came to America for a better life, spoke 2 languages, and most importantly, was incredibly smart. She just hadn't had the opportunity. Not yet. One Tuesday morning, everything began while working at her biggest client's house, Mrs. Anderson's place in Beverly Hills. Mrs. Anderson was on the phone with a friend in the spacious living room. Maria was mopping the marble floor right next to them when she heard the woman's voice. "Yes, Jessica, we raised the rent 40% on that Pasadena house we bought last month. The previous owner knew nothing about investment. Same tenants for 20 years, same price. We bought it, did light renovation, rented it out. Now it's bringing in $6,000 a month instead of $4,000. Maria's hands stopped. Her arms holding the mop froze for a moment. $4,000 to $6,000. Just minor repairs. Same house. Different owner. Her heart started racing, but her face showed no change. She continued working, ears wide open. Mrs. Anderson continued. "The best part, Jessica, nobody's looking at these houses. Elderly owners die. Heirs want to sell immediately. We're buying below market price. A little paint, some renovation. Then we rent or resell. We've bought 7 houses like this in the past 6 months." Maria cleaned her other 3 houses that day on autopilot. Her mind was stuck on that conversation. When she got home that evening, while her children ate dinner, she opened her old laptop, a Toshiba that Roberto used for school homework. Slow and outdated, she typed Pasadena cheap houses into Google, then Los Angeles elderly homeowners, then rental house prices. Hours passed. Her eyes were locked on the screen. Diego had fallen asleep in her lap, but Maria was still searching. The next day, she was at another house. This time in Brentwood, a young couple, both working at tech companies. They were having coffee in the kitchen while Maria washed dishes. The man said, "Look, Emma, there's this house I saw on Zillow. Owner is 92 years old. Looking at the listing, no updates in 10 years. Obviously needs renovation, but the location is perfect. Market value is $800,000. But they listed it at $620. The old man's probably hospitalized. Kids want cash immediately." Emma replied. "Then we need to move fast. These opportunities disappear in a day. Let's call tomorrow morning." That evening, when Maria got home, she opened Zillow. The platform was complicated, but she didn't give up. She clicked every button, every menu. For hours, she wrote down addresses, neighborhoods, prices she'd heard while cleaning houses, in a notebook. Handwritten, Spanish notes, English addresses. When Carmen asked, "Mom, what are you doing?" she said, "Nothing, sweetie, just learning something." For 3 months, Maria didn't just clean. She was now a researcher. In every house she visited, In every conversation she overheard, she was learning the secrets of the real estate world, which neighborhoods had rising prices, which houses were undervalued, what types of houses rented quickly. While her wealthy clients discussed real estate investments, Maria silently took notes. In her head, because she couldn't pull out a notebook, but every evening when she got home, she wrote everything down. By the end of the 6th month, Maria's notebook was 200 pages. She had mapped out low-priced but high-potential homes in Los Angeles. Which neighborhoods were rising, which streets were dangerous, which houses needed only cosmetic repairs, which ones needed complete renovation. From her clients' conversations with realtors, she'd learned which banks offered the best loans, which contractors worked cheap but quality, which tenants were reliable. But there was one problem. Maria had no money. She had $4,700 saved in the bank, accumulated over 3 years, from the $100 to $150 left over at the end of each month. Buy a house with this money? Impossible. Get a loan? As a cleaning lady, her official income was too low. No bank would give her a mortgage. But Maria didn't give up, because the most important thing she'd learned in those Beverly Hills houses was this: wealthy people never used their own money. They always used other people's money. They found partners, brought in investors. She'd heard about something called OPM, other people's money. Maria tried talking to Mr. Richardson at one of the houses she cleaned for the first time. Mr. Richardson was a retired lawyer, a kind man who always offered Maria tea. One day, gathering her courage, she asked, "Mr. Richardson, I want to buy real estate, but I have no money. What do you think I should do?" The man was surprised at first. Then he laughed, but not mockingly, with amazement. "Maria, are you interested in real estate?" he said. Maria nodded. "Yes, I'm learning. I've learned a lot." Mr. Richardson poured another coffee, sat down. "Tell me, what have you learned?" Maria told him about the information she'd gathered over 3 months, the notes in her notebook, the opportunities she'd noticed. As Mr. Richardson listened, his eyes widened. "Maria, you've really done your research. This information is valuable. So what are you planning to do?" Maria hesitated, then opened up. "I found a house in Boyle Heights. An elderly woman, 89 years old, selling. I want to buy the house for $290,000. It needs some repairs, $30,000 to $40,000. Then I'll rent it, at least $2,200 monthly rental income. But I only have $4,700. Mr. Richardson thought. "So, a total investment of $330,000. Your contribution is $5,000. Where will you find the remaining $325,000? Maria felt her heart racing. "From you, or from someone like you. I'll manage it. I'll handle repairs. I'll find tenants. You just put up the money. Profit, split 50-50. Mr. Richardson looked at Maria for a long time. This wasn't the cleaning lady he'd known for 2 years. This was someone else. Someone with vision. Someone with courage. Someone who'd been listening, learning, planning, while everyone thought she was just wiping floors. 3 days later, Mr. Richardson called Maria. "I talked to 2 of my friends. We'll put up the money. But Maria, we want to see this house. We want to see your plan. We want to understand what we're getting into." Maria's hands trembled when she hung up. Not from fear, from excitement. This was it, the moment everything would change. The house in Boyle Heights was exactly as she'd described. A 1950s craftsman, neglected but structurally sound. The elderly owner, Mrs. Chen, wanted to sell quickly to move into assisted living. Maria brought Mr. Richardson and his 2 friends. They walked through the house. Maria explained everything. New paint, $3,000. Kitchen countertop replacement, $5,000. Bathroom renovation, $8,000. Flooring, $6,000. Total renovation, $35,000. Maximum. After renovation, rental value, $2,400 per month. Total investment, $325,000. Annual return, $28,800. That's 8.8% cash-on-cash return, plus property appreciation. One of Mr. Richardson's friends, a real estate developer, was impressed. "Maria, you've done more homework than most agents I work with. How long have you been studying this?" 7 months, Maria said. "Every day, every house I clean, I listen, I learn, I take notes, I research." They bought the house. Maria managed the entire renovation. She negotiated with contractors she'd heard her clients mention. She got quotes from 3 different vendors for every job. She was on site every day after her cleaning jobs, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. supervising the work. Diego, Carmen, and Roberto would sit in the car doing homework while Mom checked tile installation and paint quality. 6 weeks later, the house was ready. Maria listed it for rent. Applications flooded in. She screened every tenant carefully, called references, checked credit scores. She chose a young family, stable jobs, excellent credit, $2,400 per month. First month's rent plus security deposit. The house was occupied. Mr. Richardson and his friends were amazed. "Maria, we want to do this again. Find another property." And she did. Within 3 weeks. This time in Highland Park. Another elderly owner. Another undervalued property. Same strategy. Purchase, renovate, rent. This time, they moved faster. 8 weeks from purchase to tenant. Then a third property. Then a fourth. By the end of the first year, Maria and her partners owned 7 properties. Total portfolio value $2.1 million. Maria's share $1.05 million. But she didn't take any money out. She reinvested everything, found more partners, scaled the operation. She hired her first employee, then her second, a small office in East LA, a phone line, business cards that read Maria Gonzalez, Property Investment Specialist. Her former clients, the ones whose houses she used to clean, started calling her, not for cleaning, for advice. "Maria, we heard you're doing real estate. Can you help us find an investment property?" The woman who used to mop their floors was now their consultant. Year 2 was explosive. Maria's company, MG Properties, acquired 23 houses. She developed a system: find undervalued properties, buy below market, renovate efficiently, rent above average, hold for appreciation. She knew which contractors delivered quality on time. She knew which property managers were reliable. She knew which neighborhoods were about to boom before anyone else, because she was still listening, still learning, still taking notes. But the breakthrough came when she discovered something nobody else was doing. While other investors fought over the same properties in trendy neighborhoods, Maria noticed a pattern: elderly homeowners in Latino neighborhoods were sitting on gold mines without knowing it. Properties worth $500,000 being sold for $350,000 because families wanted quick sales. No other investors were targeting these areas because they didn't speak Spanish, didn't understand the community, couldn't build trust. Maria did. She started knocking on doors, speaking Spanish, building relationships. "I'm not a corporation. I'm Maria. I grew up in Mexico. I cleaned houses for 10 years. I know what it's like to struggle. Let me help your family get full value for this property." Families trusted her. They sold to her not because she offered the highest price, but because she treated them with respect. She helped them navigate the complex process. She explained every document. She made sure they understood their options. Word spread in the community. "Go to Maria. She's one of us. She's fair." Properties flowed to her. She was acquiring 2 to 3 houses per month. Some she renovated and rented. Others she renovated and flipped. Her team grew to 15 people. Her annual revenue crossed $8 million. Her personal net worth $12 million. 3 years after that conversation with Mr. Richardson, Maria stopped cleaning houses. Not because she was too successful, but because she didn't have time. She was running a 40-property empire. She had 30 employees. She was managing $15 million in real estate assets. But she never forgot where she came from. Every Monday morning, she'd drive through Boyle Heights, Highland Park, East LA, the neighborhoods where she used to clean houses. She'd look at the properties she now owned. properties that provided affordable housing to families like hers. Families who needed a chance. Maria also started mentoring other cleaning ladies, other service workers, other immigrants who wanted to build wealth but didn't know how. She'd invite them to her small office, share her notebook, explain her strategy. "You're already in the houses of wealthy people," she'd tell them. "You're already seeing how they think, how they invest, how they build wealth. Listen, learn, take notes, then act." 5 years after buying her first property, Maria Gonzalez was featured in the Los Angeles Times. From Maid to Millionaire: How One Woman Built an $89 Million Real Estate Empire. The article went viral. Interview requests poured in. Speaking invitations arrived. Book deals were offered. But Maria stayed focused. She expanded to San Diego, then to Phoenix, then to Las Vegas. Always the same strategy: find undervalued properties in overlooked neighborhoods, buy smart, renovate efficiently, create value. Today, 7 years after that first conversation with Mr. Richardson, Maria's company manages a portfolio worth $89 million. She personally owns assets worth $34 million. She employs 120 people. She's renovated over 200 properties. She's provided housing to more than 500 families. But the numbers don't tell the full story. The real story is about a woman who was invisible for 10 years, who everyone overlooked, who people spoke in front of as if she didn't exist. A woman who turned that invisibility into her superpower, who listened when others ignored her, who learned when others dismissed her, who acted when others doubted her. Maria still wakes up at 5:30 every morning, not to clean houses, but to build her empire. Diego is now 11. Carmen is 15. Roberto is 19 and studying business at USC. They work for their mom's company during summers, learning the same lessons she learned: listen, observe, act. When people ask Maria what her secret was, she always gives the same answer: "I was already in the rooms where wealth was being created. I just started paying attention. The opportunities were always there. The conversations were always happening. The strategies were being discussed right in front of me. I just had to listen." She pauses, then adds, "And here's what nobody understands: those rooms still exist. Those conversations are still happening. Wealthy people are still talking about their strategies in front of service workers, delivery drivers, restaurant staff, everyone they consider invisible. The information is still free. You just have to listen." Maria Gonzalez proved that the greatest investment isn't money. It's attention. It's curiosity. It's the willingness to learn from every conversation, every situation, every moment. She was poor. She was overlooked. She was dismissed. But she was never deaf. And that made all the difference. From $4,700 to $89 million. From cleaning lady to real estate mogul. From invisible to unstoppable. That's Maria's story. And somewhere, right now, in Beverly Hills or Brentwood or Manhattan Beach, another Maria is mopping floors, listening to conversations, taking mental notes, planning her empire. Because the opportunities haven't disappeared. They've just been waiting for someone brave enough to notice them.